Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Nārāyaneeyam. Om Namo Bhagavate Nārāyaneeyam. Shuklambaradhanam Vishnum Sasibhannam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyaye Sarvavighnopashantaye Ananta Samsara Samudratara Naukaitabhyam GuruBhakti Dabhyam Vairagya Samrajyada Pujanabhyam Namo Namah Sri Guru Padukabhyam Anjana Nadanam Veeram Janaki Shoganashanam Kabīsamakshagantaram Vande Lanka Bhayankaram. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Yadangri Pangeru Harenu Lagnam Nipiyaniram Vimalantarangaha Janami Tattvam Nijamatma Rupam Tam Nomi Narayana Tirthamaryam. Hare Krishna, Guruvayurappa, Narayana, Narayana, Narayana. Namaskaram. Welcome to the 34th session of Krishna Leela Tarangini, commencing the Tarangam 5 of the opera. In the last session, we enjoyed through the prisms of Krishna Leela Tarangini, Srimad Bhāgavatam and Nārāyaneeyam, Sri Krishna, Baladeva and Gopalakas visiting the Bandiraka Vanam and the Samharam of Pralambasura by Baladeva. We also reviewed the other incident, namely the spread of uncontrollable forest fire, threatening the safety of cattle and the Gopalakas, and how Krishna took care of the whole incident. In fact, he took the fire in his palm and swallowed it. That's how he took care of the incident. Lord Krishna, who grants the wishes of his devotees even before they ask or even think about asking any wish or any favor. He was offered benediction by the Gopalaka boys, singing Sri Gopalakam Yekameva Paramam Devam Sada Manaye. Of course, the song we enjoyed was Sri Gopalakam Yekameva Devatam Hridaye Agamara Vinda Brunda Amsam Akalaye Krishnam. After all the benediction and thanking Krishna for saving them from the forest fire, the Gopalakas, along with their cows and calves, the cattle, they left Vrindavana to return to Gokulam. With that, we finished Tarangam 4. Before we proceed to Tarangam 5, it will be interesting to briefly look at chapter 20 and chapter 21 of the Dasamaskandam of Srimad Bhāgavatam, describing the rainy season and autumn season in Vrindavanam, and the magic of Krishna's flute and its effect on the entire creation, not just limited to Vrindavanam, for which, of course, Suka used 49 slokams in chapter 20 and 20 slokams in chapter 21, respectively, focusing only on the seasons as well as the magical flute of Krishna. One may wonder why 2 full chapters were dedicated by Suka for just 2 seasons and the magical flute. But a careful study by those who enjoy the language, the exquisite, beautiful Sanskrit language, and the tapestry that was painted by Suka will reveal the reasons behind why Suka took such elaborate time to describe the seasons and the flute. Parikshit understood that to enhance the description of Sri Krishna's Leelas, Sri Suka took time to present the beauty of Vrindavana during autumn as well as the rainy season and the effect of Krishna's mesmerizing flute over the entire creation. It was also appropriate to talk about the seasons because the very next major event that's going to come up is the non-stop rains created by Indra and how Krishna became Govardhana Giridhari. In the course of these presentations in chapter 20 and 21, Suka gives various charming descriptions and instructions to mankind in metaphorical usages as well. Also, the indescribable compassion of Bhagavan is often highlighted in those descriptions. We will at least see some minimum samples from chapter 20 to begin with. And here is one about rain clouds. Ashtau masan nipitam yad bhumyaha Ashtau masan nipitam yad bhumyaha cha udamayam vasu swagobihi moktum areve moktum areve arjanya kale areve arjanya kale agate The Acharyas compare the sun's evaporating the earth's wealth of water to a noble king's collecting of taxes when the farmers and merchants are prosperous. In years when farmers and merchants are not making enough money, or if there is a drought or any other calamity, the Raja will not collect taxes. On the contrary, he will help them because they are his citizens. Nevertheless, such taxes are just a small portion of the earnings of these farmers and merchants, so that the kingdom is protected, and when the need arises, the collected wealth is given back to the citizens in the form of conveniences and comforts in every form possible. Unlike in today's world where, unfortunately, more than 70% of the tax collection is squandered by many countries, if not most countries, and political leaders through bureaucratic neglect, institutional and organizational corruption, and for arms race for showing off might over one another. In fact, this sloka makes me curious with the thought whether Suka was attracted by Valmiki Mahavakya in Kishkinda Ganda in chapter 27. Let's listen to that slokam. Navamasa dhritam garbham bhaskarasya gabhastivihi Navamasa dhritam garbham bhaskarasya gabhastivihi Itvarasam samudranam yauhu prasute rasayanam yauhu prasute rasayanam. So in the Ramayana Vakyam which we saw just now in Kishkinda, for 9 months in a year, the sky drinks the ocean's water, sucking it up through the sun's rays and gives it back or gives birth to a liquid offspring, which indeed is the elixir of life. Pitva rasam samudranam dyauhu prasute rasayanam. Here is also Suka about the great rains, a gift from Lord Parjanya, and hence his indescribable karunyam or compassion to humanity. Suka says in Sloka 6, Tadidvanto mahamegaha chandasvasana vepitaha. Prinanam jivanam hi asya mumuchuhu karunaiva. We will listen to that song now. Tatidvanto mahameghaha, Tatidvanto mahameghaha, 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 Chandasvasana vepitaha, Prinanam Jivano hiyasya mumuchuhu karunaiva. Prinanam Jivanam hiyasya mumuchuhu karunaiva. Karunaiva. The raga which you just now heard is known as Megharanji. The meaning is, just as great compassionate personalities often give their lives or wealth for the happiness of society, the rain clouds pour down in entirety their rain upon the parched earth. Although the clouds were dissipated because of these heavy rains, they freely provided rainfall for the happiness of the earth without any holdback. Metaphorically speaking, the lightning in rain clouds is a light by which they see the distressed condition of the earth. So it brightens up the place. So the rain clouds decide, okay, now this kind of a parched drought condition should be cured. And the blowing of winds are their heavy breathing, such as that found in a distressed person. Distressed to see the condition of the earth, the clouds tremble in the wind like a compassionate person. Therefore, they pour down their rain. It is also apparent that the above sentiments appear to have been taken from Rigveda. There is a beautiful Mahavakyam from Rigvedam of how the rains are cast. Om Adhurustam Asrajo Vikani Pamarnavan Badbadanam Aramnaha Mahantam Indra Parvatam Vi Yadvaha Srujo Vidhara Avadhanavamhan. Breaking open the cloud, you create the channels for rain. You strike fast the mammoth cloud. O Indra, you cast open the mountain of cloud, making the showers, destroying the darkness. At the subtle level, the rains are the breaking open of the veils of darkness, bringing in the showers of wisdom, removing the wickedness in oneself. There is, of course, another beautiful subchapter in Rigveda known as Parjanya Sukta, made up of 10 slokams. 2 of the Sukta slokams are exquisite. The 5th slokam says, Yasya vrate prithvi nannam nimiti, Yasya vrate sapavajjuhu buriti, Yasya vrata oshadihi vishwarupaha sanaha parjanyamahi sharmayacha. O Parjanya Deva, at your command, the earth remains fertile and all living beings are nourished. At your command, the plants become life-giving herbs. O Lord, grant us refuge. Avarshihi varsham vudu iti sa grubhaya akaha dhanvani ati yetaiva omiti ajijanaha oshadihi bhojanaya kam uta prajabhyaha avidaha manisham. This is the 10th sloka in the Parjanya Sukta. This particular Sukta was explained by Sri Aurobindo, who wrote actually a mini treatise on the Parjanya Sukta of those 10 slokams. You have rained thy rains, now catch them upward. You have made the desert places easy to be crossed. You have produced the growths of earth's seeds for our enjoying. Yes, thou hast found the thought mind for my creatures and thy creatures. In plain English, O Parjanya, you have rained in abundance. Now hold back. You have done enough. You have indeed transformed the desert-like lands into heavenly abode. Through your blessings, healing food and herbs abound. So here is the time now for you to stop raining and do not flood. O Lord, you have truly won our hearts and love and hence our worship, so that having given us what we need, you may kindly stop. When this explanation is given for this Parjanya Sukta by Sri Aurobindo, some of you may have correctly guessed that Andal also got this sentiment from Rigveda Parjanya Suktam by Azwãrs, and hence the fourth Tiruppavai Pasuram, which exactly represents what the Sukta says and how Aurobindo elaborately explained the Sutta. In other words, O Parjanya, you have reigned in abundance. You have made everybody happy. But now it is the time for you to stop and hold back because you cannot afford to reign anymore.
ஆழி மழை கண்ணா ஒன்று நீ கை கரவேலாழி 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 மழை கண்ணா ஒன்று நீ கை கரவேல் ஆழியோட்பூக்கு முகந்து கொடா தேரி ஆழியோட்பூக்கு முகந்து கொடா தேரி உருவம் போல்மை கருத்து ஓழி முதல்வன் உருவம் போல்மை கருத்து ஊழி முதல்வன் உருவம் போல்மை கருத்து பாழியம் தோடுடை பத்மநாபகையில் பாழியம் தோடுடை பத்மநாபகையில் ஆழிபால் மின்னி ஆழிபால் மின்னி வலம் புரிபால் நின்றறிந்து ஆழிபால் ஆழிபால் மின்னி வலம் புரிபால் நின்றறிந்து தாழாதே சார்கம் உதைத்த சரமழை போல் தாழாதே சார்கம் உதைத்த சரமழை போல் வாழ உலகினில் பெய்திடாய் நாங்களோ வாழ வாழ உலகினில் பெய்திடாய் நாங்களோ வாழ உலகினில் பெய்திடாய் வாழ உலகினில் மாகழி நீராட மயிலோ தேவாய் மாகழி நீராட மயிலோ தேவாய் ஆழி மழை கண்ணா மழை கண்ணா ஆழி
This pasuram specifically requests that the rains have to be adequate, appropriate, and certainly not causing floods and disharmony and unhappiness. This pasuram is also about the Antaryamitvam of Bhagavan in Parjanya form, while Andal gives clear directions to Krishna as to how the rains should arrive for prosperity and how much it should be tempered. There is also an admonition that the ultimate benefit is for prosperity and not any destruction by more than necessary downpour. Nangalum vazha ulaginil peididai. Andal requests Parjanya to assume the dark blue form of Krishna. Krishna, as you all know, is known often as Megha-shyama, and thus Andal here uses similes of Krishna as three weapons, Ari, Balamburi, and Sharangam, to describe the phenomena associated with rain. The lightning is likened to the discus Sudarshana, that equals auspicious vision. The discus which moves at the speed of light represents the universal mind. It is discharged for the punishment of the wicked and the salvation of the devotees. The conch, the Panchajanya, was born of the ocean from the primordial ocean of creation. It symbolizes the emanation of the cosmos and of the sound of Omkara. Its tumultuous sound is meant to proclaim Bhagavan's saving grace. In his creation as Sri Rama, Bhagavan used the bow, Sarngam, to defeat the demonic host of the Rakshasas led by Ravana. Here the bow is invoked to destroy the demon of drought. Esoterically, the cloud is said to represent the great preceptors, namely Acharyas, and in particular here, often the Vyakyanam is given that Yatiraj Ramanuja has been denoted here. He is celebrated as the Anna and elder brother of Andal, and we have seen that in a number of Upanyasams and Tiruppavai in earlier years. The Acharyas collate spiritual knowledge from very many sources. And the Acharya's main job is not only the collection of this wisdom, but distill their essence and then give the essence by spreading it all over the world in their forms easily understood by masses. If it is Veda Vakyams unable to comprehend by ordinary masses, then they give it in the form of Upanishads. If the Upanishads are also problematic for understanding by common man, then they give meanings and Vyakyanam for that. If they are also difficult, then Puranams also try to highlight good and bad. But every one of these scriptural pleasures that we enjoy, unless it is properly understood and the language is well known and how to read them is also a great knowledge, Acharyas are able to make it in the form of essence and give it to us, the background, as well as how much should it be appreciated. This kind of process of collating it, distilling it, and spreading it, they do without any expectation of gain or selfish motive, the only reason being their boundless compassion or karunyam for fellow companions who happen to become their disciples. The suffering human beings who are immersed in their mundane life of constant material pursuits need all this, but they don't have either the knowledge or time to read from the originals. So they expect the Acharyas to give them at least in condensed form the knowledge. Meera Bai highlights this aspect of gurus, how the Acharyas are as important as Bhagavan himself. Oftentimes, in many of the Sampradaya, we believe that if we reach Acharyas and pray to them, automatically Bhagavan takes care of us. In fact, that's why I have given you the anecdote in many of the Tiruppavai Upanyasams, when Madhura Kavi Azhvar was directly confronted by Bhagavan Krishna and say, why is that you are not singing on me? Madhura Kavi said, I am going to sing on my Acharya. My Acharya will sing upon you. So the easiest thing is, leave me alone. I will take care of my Acharya will take care of you. So I'm putting it in a very simplistic form, but for Madhura Kavi, Sakshat Nammalvar, Acharya is none else than Bhagavan himself. This kind of understanding process as to who the Guru is, who Acharyas are, many saints have said in many ways. Meera Bai has highlighted this aspect of Gurus, calling Giridhar as her Guru, or her Acharya is none else than Giridhara himself.
Mogilagi Lagana Guru चरणन की मोहि लागी लगन गुरु चरणन की मोहि लागी लगन गुरु चरणन की मोहि लागी लगन गुरु चरणन की लागी लगन गुरु चरणन की मोहि लागी लगन गुरु चरणन की मोहि लागी लगन गुरु चरणन की मोहि लागी लगन गुरु चरणन की चरण बिना मुझे कछु नहीं पावे 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 जग माया सब सबने की जग माया सबने की जग माया सबने लगी जग माया सबने लगी मोहि लागी लगन की मोहि लागी लगन की भवसागर सब सुख गई भवसागर सब सुखी रही भवसागर सब सुख गई है भवसागर सब सुख गई भवसागर सब सुख गई भवसागर सब सुख गई फिक्र नहीं मुझे तरन नहीं 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 मोहि लागी लगन मोहि लागी लगन मीरा के प्रभु मीरा के प्रभु मीरा के प्रभु गिरिधर नागर 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 उलट भई मोरे नयन लगी उलट भई मोरे नयन लगी आस बही गुरु शरण लगी आस बही गुरु शरण लगी उलट भई मोरे नयन लगी उलट भई नयन लगी लागी लगन की मोहि लागी लगन मोहि लागी लगन चरण लगी मोहि लागी लगन चरण लगी मोहि लागी लगन चरण लगी मोहि लागी चरण लगी चरण लगी चरण लगी चरण लगी चरण लगी चरण लगी चरण लगी
Meera Bai says, I am wedded to my Guru's feet. Nothing appeals to me excepting surrendering to your feet, O Guru. The entire world seems false like an illusion or as a dream to me, so I don't care. In fact, everyone has been dried up by the ocean of nescience. I have no fear about any of that because I am actually at my Guru's feet. And she concludes by saying, "Oh, Meera's courtly Lord Giridhara, my Guru's grace and blessings have turned my eyes inward from the external world to the inner spirit because you are sitting inside me and I am seeing you and you are my Acharya guiding in the process." Most of the Azwãrs who preceded Andal in their hymns compared Bhagavan to the clouds, but Sri Andal, on the contrary, compared the clouds to Bhagavan. To her, Sri Krishna is Upamana, the known object, with which the object of description, namely the Prameyam, is sought to be compared. This shows Andal's boundless prema to Bhagavan. Most of the Bhagavatam verses are soaked in philosophy and instructions for the men to come in Kali Yuga, as well as often admonishing how to make wealth, save, and share, and also not get haughty by such prosperity. Suka's description of the advent of autumn and the effects of that season are stellar in this regard. Nischalam buhu abho turnim samudraha samudra sharada agame atmani uparate samyak munihi atmani uparate samyak munihi uparata agamaha 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 agamaha. This raga, Samudrapriya, is also known as Sumane Saranjani or Madhukaun's in the Hindustani system of music. With the arrival of autumn, the ocean and the lakes have become silent. Their water is still, just like a Mahamuni, the sage, who has desisted from all material activities and given up everything, including his recitation of Vedic mantras, is just there silently meditating, just you and on you only. Let us stop here and see how Suka proceeded after the descriptions of the seasons. In the 21st chapter, which is a smaller chapter, Suka describes how Lord Krishna entered the enchanting forest of Vrindavana upon the arrival of autumn and highlights the benedictions by the young cowherd girls, their happiness and at times viraha due to separation every time they heard the vibration of his magical and enchanting flute. As Bhagavan Krishna, Lord Balarama and their cowherd friends, buddies, entered the forest to graze the cows, Krishna began playing his flute most of the time, which relieved the exhaustion of the Gopalakas as well as the Pasukulam, as though it was elixir of life retuned unto them. The gopis knew what the enchanting flute tunes meant, and for each tune, they knew the exact meaning, how Krishna uses and why he uses those tunes, and understood that Krishna was entering the forest at a particular time. Then they narrated and sang to one another all of Lord's Leelas whenever they heard this flute. Suka gives exquisite descriptions of all of these in 20 slokams in the chapter 21. Uvayyaram Venkata Kavi went ecstatic about this scene many times. Let us hear a prime sample of such.
குழலூதி மனமெல்லாம் கொள்ளை கொண்ட பின் குறையேதும் எனக்கேதடி குழலூதி மனமெல்லாம் கொள்ளை கொண்ட பின் குறையேதும் எனக்கேதடி குழலூதி மனமெல்லாம் கொள்ளை கொண்ட பின் குறையேதும் எனக்கேதடி உள்ளே உலகேதடி சரகி உடலூரின் மனமெல்லாம் உள்ளே உலகேதடி அழகான மயிலாடவும் அழகான மயிலாடவும் மிக அழகான மயிலாடவும் மிக மிக அழகான மயிலாடவும் மிக 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 அழகான மயிலாடவும் மிக மிக அழகான மயிலாடவும் காதில் அதை நாடும் கோடி போலவும் அழகான மயிலாடவும் காதில் அதை நாடும் கோடி போலவும் அழகான மயிலாடவும் காதில் அதை நாடும் கோடி போலவும் அகவனின் உலகில் ஒளிதனிலே தனை மருந்து புள்ளினம் கூட அகவனின் உலகில் ஒளிதனிலே தனை மருந்து புள்ளினம் கூட அதைந்தாடி மிக திசை கூடி வரும் நலம் காண ஒரு மனம் நாட நலம் காண ஒரு மனம் நாட தகுதி என ஒரு பதம் பாட தகிட தகிவி என நடமாட தகுதி என ஒரு பதம் பாட தகிட தகிவி என நடமாட கன்று பசுவினோடு நின்று புடைசூழ என்று மலரு கையிலை கணிமோ உடலூரின் மனங்கள்லாம் கன்று பசுவினோடு நின்று புடைசூழ என்று மலரு கையிலை கனிவோடு உடலூர் மனங்கள்லாம் உலகே மனமெல்லாம் மகர குண்டலமாடவோ மகர குண்டலமாடவோ அதற்கு மகர குண்டலமாடவோ அதற்கு மணி வீசவோ மகர குண்டலமாடவோ அதற்கு மணி வீசவோ மிகவும் எளிதாகவும் மிகவும் எளிதாகவும் காதில் பிடிரும் உயிராடவும் மிகவும் எளிதாகவும் காதில் பிடிரும் உயிராடவும் அகமகிழ்ந்தும் இளவொளிதலிலே அனைவரின் புள்ளினம் கூட அசைந்தாடி மிக இசைந்தோடி வரும் நலம் காண ஒரு மனம் நாட தகுது என ஒரு பதம் பாட தகிட தகுதி என நடமாட தகுது என கன்று பசுவினோடு நின்று புடைசூழ என்று மலரும் கைதை கனிவோடு உடலூர் மனமெல்லாம் உள்ளே கொண்டது உலகேதும் எனக்கேதடி சரடி உடலூரில் உலகேதும் எனக்கேதடி
Let us see another sample from Srimad Bhāgavatam, this time the 5th slokam from the chapter 21, often taken as the foundation for 1,000 Acharyas and Kavis who came after Suka to explain their astonishment of what they visualized in Vrindavanam about the magician Krishna, and with his magic flute, in their own form and in their own style in literary excellence.
Vargavīdam Nadavarabapuhu Karnayo Karnikaram Nadavarabapuhu Karnayo Karnikaram Vibhratvasa Kanaka Kapisham Vaijayantim Chamalam Randran Veno Radhara Sudaya Purayan Gopavrindai Vrindaranyam Swapadaramanam Pravishad Gita Kirtihi Swapadaramanam Pravishad Gita Kirtihi.
In the sloka that we just heard, the meaning goes like this. Right in front of their mental eyes, an exquisite form resembling that of an actor on stage, very well adorned with peacock feathers and with karnikara flowers on his ears, a wreath of flowers of different colors, namely 5 different colors known as Vaijayanti, the Pitambara, and filling the holes of his flute with the nectar of his lips, as it were. All the people who were watching felt he entered Vrindavanam, charming with his footprints found at every step. His glory being sung by hosts of Gopalakas. Incidentally, when I said Karnikara, the flowers are otherwise known as Matsyagandha, or in Tamil they call Vendangu, or Tadayamaram, or Drumotpalam. And in the Hindi belt, the same flowers are known as Kanaka Champaka. Leela Suka followed in Sri Krishna Karnāmadam in a very beautiful manner.
Angulyagraihi aruna kiranaihi aruna kiranaihi muktasam ruddharantram varam vadana maruta venum apurayantam Vyatyasyaangrim vikachakamala chaya vistara netram Vyatyasyaangrim vikachakamala chaya vistara netram Vrinde vrindavana sucharitam Nanda Gopala Sunum.
After Leela Suka, Narada Bhattadiri, who came 200 years after him, reflected the same sentiment. Kananantamitavan bhavanapi snigdapada patale manorame. And followed by Narayana Bhattadiri, we are going to listen to Periyalvar, who says that when Govinda played the flute, he threw his weight on his left shoulder. Let us listen to both Narayana Bhattadiri's Slokam 4 of 59th Dasakam as well as Periyalvar Tirumazhi following now.
Kananantamitavan bhavanapi snigdapada patale manorame yatyaya kalita padamastitaha pratyapurayata venunalikam idavanarai idattolodu சாய்த்திருகை கூட புருவம் நெறிந்தே இடவணரை இடத்தோளொடு சாய்த்திருகை கூட புருவம் நெறிந்தே கூடவயிறுபட வாய்க்கடை கூட கோவிந்தன் குழலூடு கோவிந்தன் குழல் கொடு ஊதின போது வானிளம்படியர் வந்து வந்தீண்டி மனமுருகி மலர்கள் பனிப்ப தேனளவு செறி கூந்தல் அவிழச் சென்னி வேற்ப தேனளவு செறி கூந்தல வீழ சென்னி வேற்ப செவி சேர்த்து நின்றனரே.
As we saw now, when Govinda played his flute, he threw his weight on his left shoulder, his 2 hands came together His eyebrows were knitted, his belly rose, his mouth closed in. Deer-like and peacock-like maidens, their flowered coiffure loosening, their dress slipping, their saris held with one hand. They stood shyly apart, running their collyrium-lined eyes all over Krishna. Now it is the turn of Sukha Brahmam for effusive poetry, almost with similar sentiment. We will be listening now to two slokas from Sukha, Sloka 13 and Sloka 19 from chapter 21. Gavatsa Krishna Mukha Nirgatha Venu Gita Gavatsa Krishna Mukha Nirgatha Venu Gita Gavatsa Krishna Mukha Nirgata Venu Gita Piyusham Uttabhita Karna Putaihi Pibantyaha Chavasnuta Stanapayaha Tanapaya Kamalasmatatu Govindam Chamasnutaha Tanapaya Kamalasmatatu Govindam Atmanidrisha Achrukalaha Prasantyaha Gagopagaihi Anuvanam Nayato Udara Venusvanaihi Kalapadai Tanubritsu Sakyaha Aspandanam Gatimatam Pulakatarunam Niryogapasa Kritalakshanayo Vichitram Kritalakshanayo Vichitram. It is actually the gopis were saying to one another in the words of Sukha. So the gopis, one gopi is saying, my dear friends, as Krishna and Balarama pass through the forest with leading their cows, they carry ropes to bind the cows' rear legs at the time of milking so that they don't kick. When Bhagavan Krishna plays on his flute, the sweet music causes the moving living entities to become stunned. Thereafter, there is no need to tie their legs. You don't have to do any preventive action because anyway the cows are going to be standing steady without any chalanam. And the non-moving trees to tremble with ecstasy, these things are all certainly very wonderful. This is the sloka we just now heard. Periyalvar is probably the most unique of all the dozen Azwãrs who captured the above exquisite sentiments and many more from Srimad Bhāgavatam in 11 pasurams in Moondram Pattu in his Tirumozhi. Karungan togai mail pili anindu Karungan togai mail pili anindu மயிர்பீலி அணிந்து கட்டி நான் கொடுத்த பீதகவாடை அருங்கல உருவினாயர் பெருமான் அவனொருவன் குழலூதின போது மரங்கள் நின்று மதுதாரைகள் பாயும் மலர்கள் வீழும் வளக்கோம்புகள் தாழும் இறங்கும் கூம்பும் திருமால் நின்ற திருமால் நின்ற பக்கம் நோக்கி அவை செய்யும் குணமே இறங்கும் கூம்பும் திருமால் நின்ற பக்கம் நோக்கி அவை செய்யும் குணமே சிறுவிரல்கள் தடவி பரிமாற திருவிரல்கள் தடவி பரிமாற செங்கண் கோடச் செய்யவாய் கொப்பளிக்க சிறுவிரல்கள் தடவி பரிமாற செங்கண் கோட செய்யவாய் கொப்பளிக்க குருவையர் புருவம் கூடலிப்ப கோவிந்தன் குழல் கொடுதினபோது கோவிந்தன் குழல் கொடுதினபோது பறவையின் கணங்கள் உடுதுறந்து வந்து சூழ்ந்து படுகாடு கிடப்ப கறவையின் கணங்கள் கால் பரப்பிட்டு கவிழ்ந்திறங்கி செவியாட்டகில்லாவே திரண்டழ தழை மழை முகில் வண்ணன் செங்கமலம் மலர் சூழ் வண்டினம் போலே சுருண்டு இரண்டு குழல் தாழ்ந்த முகத்தான் ஊதுகின்ற குழலோசை வழியே மருண்டும் மான் கணங்கள் மெய்கை மறந்து மேய்ந்த புல்லும் கடைவாய் வழி சோர மருண்டு மான் கணங்கள் மேய்கை மறந்து மேய்ந்த புல்லும் கடைவாய் வழி சோர இரண்டு பாடும் துலங்காப்புடை பெயரா எழுது சித்திரங்கள் போல நின்றனவே. In the last pasuram which we heard, Thirundazhai Malai Mugil Vannan Sengamala Malarsu Vandinam Pole சுருண்டு இருண்ட குழல் தாழ்ந்த முகத்தான் ஊதுகின்ற குழல் ஓசை வழியே மருண்டு மான் கணங்கள் மேகை மறந்து மேய்ந்த புல்லும் கடைவாய் வழி சோர இரண்டு பாடும் துலங்காப்புடை பெயராய் எழுதி சித்திரங்கள் போல நின்றனவே. Periyar says, when the Lord of dark cloud, Meghashyama, played his flute with curls falling over his face like bumblebees hovering over a lotus, the music made the herd of deer stop grazing. Even the grazed grass slipped out of their mouth. Not moving this side or that side, forward or backward, they stood like pictures on a wall. எழுதி சித்திரங்கள் போல நின்றனவே. Leela Suka too had a lot more to say, but his 81st slokam of first chapter focuses on Krishna's unique footwork when he plays the flute. Tribhuvana sarasabhyam divya leela akulabhyam Tribhuvana sarasabhyam divya leela akulabhyam Drisi drisi shirasabhyam Dipta bhusha parabhyam Asarana charanabhyam Adbhutabhyam padabhyam Ayam ayam anupujat Venuhu ayati devaha Ayam ayam anupujat Venurayati deva. Leela Suka says, Tribhuvana sarasabhyam divya leela akulabhyam drisi drisi shishirabhyam Deepta bhusha padabhyam Acharya sharanabhyam adbhutabhyam padabhyam Ayam anupujat Venuhu ayati devaha. Acharya sharanabhyam. He is the shelter for the shelterless. Adbhutabhyam padabhyam. It's phenomenal. Ayam anupujat Venuhu ayati devaha. Well, here comes that boy Krishna. Then we will listen to Narayana Bhattadiri describing identical sentiment in the 5th slokam in Dasakam 59. Mara Banadirtha Kechari Kulam Nirvikara Pasupakshi Mandalam Dramanam Chadrisha Damapi Prabho Tavakam Vyajani Venu Pujitam. Mara Banaduta Kechari Kulam Nirvikara Pasupakshi Mandalam Marabana Duta Kechari Kulam Nirvikara Pasupakshi Mandalam Dravanam Chadrushadama Piprabho Tavakam Vyajani Venu Kujitam Dravanam Chadrushadama Piprabho Tavakam Vyajani Venu Kujitam Bhattadri used Dravanam cha Drishadamapi in the sloka. That particular coinage has been used in the slokam alongside Pasupakshi Mandalam. It should be understood that in poetic fancy, even inanimate objects like rocks have life, a mind and consciousness of their own, happiness and sorrows. So when he said Dravanam cha Drishadamapi Pasupakshi Mandalam, everybody, according to the great poet, have not only life but a mind and consciousness of their own. That includes happiness and sorrow. So that's the significance of the statement that Bhagavan's melody melted even rocks. We say often in Tamil, Kallum Karayum Kudalosai. Following the statement, Antaha Samkhya Bhavantiyete Sukha Dukkha Samanvitaha, it should be concluded that stones and the like do have, like other beings, feelings of pain and the like, since every one of them is a manifestation of the Creator. So every one, inanimate or animate, has an Atma which is part of Brahman. However, the only difference is that, as said in Jnanam tu Desham Adhiko Visheshaha, in matters of knowledge, human beings occupy the foremost place, and trees, stones, and the like, they come much less below. So you got to remember this adage, Jnanam tu Desham Adhiko Visheshaha. Now it is Leela Suka's turn. He exceeds the imagination, claiming the power of the sound of his flute. Pallavaruna Pani Pankaja Sangi Venuravakulam. Pallavaruna Pani Pankaja Sangi Venuravakulam. Pulla Patala Patali Vadi Pada Sarorugam. Pallavaruna Pani Pankaj Sangi Venuravakulam. Pulla Patala Patali Parivadi Pada Sarorugam. Ullasan Madhuradharadyuti Manjari Sarasananam. Pallavi Kucha Kumbha Kunkuma Pangilam Prabhumasraye. Pratyaham cha punarittamanganas. Pratyaham cha punarittamanganas. Chittayoni janitad anugrahat. Pratyaham cha punarittamanganas. Chittayoni janitad anugrahat. Baddharaga vivasastvai prabha. Nityamapuriga krityamudatam. Pratyaham cha punarittamanganas. Chittayoni janitad anugrahat. Baddharaga vivasastvai prabha. Nityamapuriga krityamudatam. Bhagavan's lotus feet reproach fully blossomed partally flowers. Partally flowers are known as the trumpet flowers. This is, in Sanskrit we call it also Ambuvahini, and in Tamil we call it Padiripu. With their beauty, his amiable face sends forth blossoms of brilliance from his delightfully sweet lips when he is playing the flute. Then Bhattadri in Nārayaneeyam continued where Leela Suka left in that particular slokam. So Bhattadri said, Pratyaham cha punarittam anganam chittayoni janita anugrahati baddharaga vivashastvai prabho nityam abhurika kritya mudata. The gopis were in a state of bliss, and they are not bothered about Manmata, because the Manmata that in their mind who is causing the disturbance is right in front of them. They were overcome with a deep love for you, Krishna. They lost their power of discrimination and started neglecting their household duties without knowing what to do. They were only rallying around you. Adare viniveshya vamsanalam vivarani asya salilam angulibhi. Adare viniveshya vamsanalam vivarani asya salilam angulibhi. Murantarayan muhu vivrinvarne maduram gayati madavavanante maduram गायति गायति माधवो वनान्ते रागस्तावज्जायते हि स्वभावयन् रागस्तावज्जायते हि स्वभावन् मोक्षोपायो यत्नतस्यात्नवास्य तासां तु ततेकं तद्वयं लब्धमासीत् भाग्यं भाग्यं पाहि मम मारुतेश तासां तु तदेकं तद्वयं लब्धमासीत् भाग्यं भाग्यं पाहि मम मारुतेश. Leela Suka says, you better seek first the kingdom of that music. Whether you want his kingdom or so, first seek the kingdom of that music, and all other things shall be added to you automatically in your wish list. Of course, Bhattadri complemented that by, he makes a very philosophical statement. Mutual love comes naturally to men and women. That doesn't need any prompting. However, love for Bhagavan, which is the means to salvation, can only be attained or may be attained by 1 in 1,000. It's very rare. That immediately takes us to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, sloka 3. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yadati siddhaye yadatamabhi siddhanam kaschin mam vedti tattvataha. Out of many thousands of beings, among people born in this creation, one may endeavor for perfection. And of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one knows me in truth. So you can now see thousands and millions of people may be aiming towards perfection, assuming that if one endeavors perfection and there are many have achieved perfection over a period of time, hardly one of them knows me in truth. Yatatamabhi siddhanam kachin mam vedi tattvataha. And that too at the end of many births. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanaman ma prapadyate vasudevaha sarvamidhi sa mahatma sudurlabha. Here, the Gopikas, thanks to the grace of Bhagavan, who is full of love, and their love for him have gained both. And love, that too directed towards the Lord, which is also the only means to salvation. That's why Gopikas were able to reach a place which no one else has ever attempted, in spite of all their siddhis. Verily, they are very, very, very fortunate. We will come to this aspect of it in later sessions also, because this will be repeated so many times. Narayana, 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 Narayana. Hare Krishna, Narayana, 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 Hare Krishna, GuruBhakti Hari-Katha.